Tony Gallagher. I'm currently active still in my home chapter of Buffalo Niagara in Region 8, and we're delighted all of you came to our region for this board meeting this weekend. As you can see, we have a tremendous turnout. Where are the members? But that's okay. Everybody has to go home at some point. But we're delighted to have you be here and come for the presentations. We'll get right to it because I think we have 20 minutes for our first distinguished presenter, our own President Sue Mager. We're very proud of her from Region 8. Unfortunately, Linda Winston could not make it. Work prevailed, and she had a pretty serious survey coming. As you know, she's at a nursing home facility, and they're pretty strict there. So unfortunately, we haven't been able to see Linda Winston, but certainly we are delighted that Sue Mager is here with us to kick off our program. This basically has to do with making the most of your membership. Sue, of course, is our current president, statewide president. She's been a past president. She's come up through the ranks, past president of Buffalo Niagara now, and extremely dedicated and loyal. I think if there's anybody who personifies membership plus, it would be Ms. Mager. So, Sue, we're going to ask you to kick it off today with an overview of New York State Women, Inc., what brings us together, what we stand for, and the importance of advocating for women in today's world.
All right, thank you, Ramona, and thank you for those glowing remarks. I'll give you your check later. We don't have to applaud. This is going to be really, really informal because I'm here to hear what you need to know, what you want to know, what you need to ask. And the only thing that I want to start out with. Am I leaving already?
We don't
No.
a little more light line. Sorry.
The only thing I want to say is every chapter that you belong to is different. They're all diversified. We all do different things. Some chapters focus on community service. Some chapters focus on legislative issues. Some chapters focus on educating their members. And everybody in this room could give me ideas, and I bet every one of you does something different in your chapter. What do you do in your chapter that is different, that you think is different?
Kim Nowakowski, Western Suffolk.
You don't have to. We don't have to be formal. We have to be formal.
Okay. Western Suffolk. Our group has leaned more towards doing educational workshops, and we've been utilizing the local libraries. It's a no cost, and we just think about different topics that might be helpful to women in our community.
Colleen?
Colleen Tech Valley. The biggest project that we do work on is the Domestic Violence Center in our area. We do projects for them. We do donations and things like that, but we do a project at Christmas time where we take care of the children so that the children have gifts for their moms, because there's nothing worse than for kids to not give a present to mom on Christmas morning. So we make sure that all of the kids have a coffee cup and stuff like that that they can give mom for Christmas morning. And right now they're doing the Domestic Violence Center is doing a gown collection that's going to go for the girls who can't afford prom gowns. So there's donations and things like that going in for those types of things. So that's what we do as our community service project.
Okay, now our discussion is just something you do different in your local, or something that you think is different or unique to your local chapter.
We do an AMBA blood drawing. It's a community service thing that we do. We charge an additional $5 on the blood screening. AMBA really is from this area. It's a blood drawing. It costs $37 for a panel of about 40 tests. We charge an additional $5, so someone coming through has to pay $42. But the majority of people that come through are elderly. So they might be on is it Medicaid?
Medicare.
It's cheaper than going through their insurance, and they can get reports that go to their doctors. And we've been doing this for probably 20 to 25 years, and that's a service that we provide. And the money that we do make goes to support scholarships in our community.
Okay, Lucille, something different?
Something different. What we've been doing for the last 12 years is we hold an open forum for either the congressional candidates or the senatorial candidates. I moderate it because I'm a parliamentarian, actually. And so what we do is we have a 7:30 breakfast. And last year we had over 200 people. And we came up with the idea that because we do scholarships, we asked the chamber to charge an extra $1, and nobody had a problem with that, and so we made $200.
Okay, because we have a tight group, so we're gonna do everyone, but I would just ask if you're gonna present something like turn your chair so that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So that it goes to everybody and it gets shared. Jenny?
I'll do 2 of them, but I'll make them really fast.
You promise.
The one, I promise. The one chapter where I have my membership at the moment is Capital Region Women's Network, and they spend every single minute, every single meeting focusing on fundraising for their endowment. So it's they'll do issues, they'll do great programs, but there's always a fundraising component for it. So it's a little different. It's different because it's always got that fundraising component. The second one is the one I'm trying to charter, which is the e-network chapter, which you've been you've been hearing about, and everything we do is focusing through social media and email and texting. So it's all, instead of meeting face to face, it's allowing people to do economic development. This is what business I'm in, or this is an issue that's important to me, and it's continuous conversation.
And it's different.
Yeah.
Next.
And I'm completely new, so.
Well, which yes, welcome, special welcome to you. Which chapter are you with?
Chautauqua County.
Chautauqua County. Oh, that's right down the road. Okay, wonderful. Well, you're going to hear that everybody does a lot of different things, and I know out towards Jamestown and towards Dunkirk, Fredonia, they've got some wonderful programs going that you're going to really be exposed to, and you're going to really enjoy it. So we'll talk later.
Okay.
Okay. Susan? Something different that you do, your local chapter does.
You expect me to know that?
Yes.
Well, one thing we do is we have something that many groups have, which is a scholarship. But we also have a scholarship for our members who maybe want to take a course or to help them professionally, or there's a professional conference coming up somewhere, and this would help them get the credentials they need to keep their jobs and things like that. So the point being that we assist our members as well as high school or college level kids also with scholarships.
Okay.
And we do fundraising for the scholarship.
That's Colleen.
Colleen, Tech Valley. Very similar to what Colleen Till just said. We do deal with one of our members is actually the executive director of Domestic Violence Right Crisis Center in Saratoga County. And because this month is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, we actually collect toiletries, clothing, anything that we could potentially donate to the organization that would benefit them. Usually we're in pretty close contact with the executive director to kind of tailor what she needs and what we can provide as the best benefit to her.
Thank you. Moving to the lovely Patricia.
Hi. We do all sorts of stuff, but one of them is when we do a scholarship, but we target it to people who are going back to work, women who've been displaced, not necessarily the youngster who needs money, but somebody who's, the last one was restarting and gone from one career, she's switching to nursing. And the other scholarship winners coming to the next meeting. I'm not sure I've forgotten what she's doing.
Okay, well,
She's gone into physical therapy like
Is that what you,
yeah, like her mother.
okay. Patricia too.
Pat Fanning from Central New York. One of the things that our local does, our chapter does, is to network with other women's clubs in the Central New York area. At Christmas time, that Federation of Women's Clubs has a Christmas project. We buy boxes of Jell-O to put in the food baskets because it's a quick and easy dessert.
like 8,000?
Your chapter.
I'm Claire Knowles, and I'm rather new to Buffalo Niagara chapter, but I would just say that the pieces that I have been totally impressed on is the communication that goes forward. It's a hugely communicating, the networking, but I think most importantly is the education. I think the way that the meetings educate the members on something new, something that will lift both each of us forward in some way, is one of the values that I have truly found.
Okay. Fran?
Carol.
I'm from Falls Region, and we've done something for a long time, and I'm one of the board members of that, the Sandy Hill Day Fair in September, and we do education for the community, and in that we help, we give out scholarships, make education gift kits for schools that need it, adopted Christmas family, domestic violence, and women's health issues. So that's why we're trying to hang on, because we do a lot, and we know that the need is more now than ever before. So we're just hanging on. We've got 12, 14 members holding on so we can do these work projects. And again, we give an ACC scholarship. A woman returned to school, and a high school from Hudson Falls, because that's where the club originated for. Even though the Falls region, we work from everywhere, South Windsville, Windsville, close this community.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for sharing that, because I think as a newcomer to the organization, you probably got a view of what each one doing something different. I thought that I would probably give you one tidbit that's really important when you become a member. Please become tech savvy, because just as Claire alluded to, we have taken so many things and we do them electronically. And as a member of a chapter, you have your finger on the pulse of the organization every single day. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, and even for people who don't use it regularly, I've got to say that this organization is probably 96% people using tools that we give them. How much time, Ramona, have I
I have a
done?
long time, we have till 20 after.
Oh,
I'll give you a
excellent.
2-minute high.
All right, give me a 2-minute high sign. Okay, so when you join New York State Women Inc., you may be joined for legislative issues, you may be joined for community issues, you may be joined just to get a night out once a month, or you may be leaning towards being even more active within the chapter organization. So we have these levels of governance. We start with the local chapter. We have regional areas. Our state's divided into 8 regions. And then we have the leaders on the state level who are all here this weekend. We meet 3 times a year on the state level. And I think most of the chapters are probably meeting once a month and breaking for the summer. Does that sound about right? Okay. So, what I want to leave you with is our diversity. You joined this organization to help other women. We used to have a motto called Women Helping Women. And I think anybody in this room who joined, when you did, that was your goal. You wanted to help other women. I'm going to give you a little story as to why I joined what was then called the BPW, and now we're New York State Women Inc. Back in, let's just say 1980, I was a whistleblower, and I had a rough time with it. I had a very rough time with it. I had a small child. I was threatened with jail time. It wasn't easy. Long and short of it, somebody who admired what I did and didn't criticize as the local newspapers did, took me aside and she said, I have a group that you should belong to. She said, you're just part of what the old BPW, the new New York State Women Inc., you're just part of what we do. So I said, and I knew this woman because she had been let's say a client of the person I had to blow the whistle on. So the first thing she did was I went into the meeting, and of course she didn't say anything about who I was or what I did. They didn't know this for years. The first thing she did was she took me to the attorney in the room, and she said, Mary, meet Sue. She needs you. That was my first experience with this organization. That was 28 years ago. And I think everyone in our hearts, we all say that this is why we joined New York State Women Inc., to be part of a group that does things legislatively, and I think we're going to get way into that. We've done up all our cleanup. We became a new organization about 3 years ago. So we've cleaned things up. That work is done. Now we can focus on issues, domestic violence, human trafficking of women, all kinds of things. This is what we're here for. This is what we do. So I think, does anybody have any questions or anything they need to know about New York State Women Inc.?
I know.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough because
Any questions?
Yeah.
Answer anything.
no, we don't answer anything.
Well,
Remember,
that's right. What happens in Niagara Falls
stays in Niagara Falls.
I thought that was Las Vegas.
So did I.
No, we
This is Las Vegas. Look across the street.
yeah, we coined it for this meeting.
Oh, okay.
Just a point, I'm glad that you did your format in the way that you did, asking each of the locals, what they do, because that's one thing that I feel that we don't get enough information out. And that's what I think our future focus should be in on, is what does each local do differently, and then create a toolkit so other people can just go on and say, oh, I didn't know how to run a legislative breakfast. I didn't know how to run a blood testing drive or what have you, or the things that, how do we do a domestic violence program? Because if everybody is doing things from scratch as opposed to swiping other people's stuff, it really slows down, it bogs down the creative process. And, I know in the Nike, the locals or the districts sometimes will say what they're doing, but I think we need to really expand on that. And maybe each time we put out a Nike or what have you, they have one page of it, of one local explaining an innovative program that they've done that others can, look to emulate. And that's really, what I think we need to do is more toolkits. One of the things that I, in my local, did was a celebration of working women. And, we got sponsorships from the local law firms, because they wanted to be, have contact with that. And, insurance companies sponsored it or what have you. And we honored average Janes, women who aren't the top CEO, but women who people in our club admired for either balancing work and family, for professional development, or for community service. And it was a great way to meet a lot of women, hear what their stories were, and it was a great membership drive tool as well. And fundraising, it also, we always had a balance afterwards, because we would pay for the meal cost of the person who's being honored. And then if they brought guests, they paid for their guests or whatever. But one year, when it was the 75th anniversary of BPW, we actually did honor 75 women.
Oh, that was
for
nice.
the 75th anniversary.
That was nice.
And, we just basically did it, from a standpoint of, let's jump off the cliff and we'll worry about it later. As far as whether or not we would be able to come up with the money to pay for 75 meals or what have you. And it all came together. And sometimes that's what you do have to do. Sometimes you do have to jump off the cliff and hope for the best. In some way, somehow, it all comes together. But we have to really stretch, as Claire had said, and go for something that even if we think it's impossible, break it down step by step, and everything is possible when we take things into small measures, put together, creates a success.
From the words of Susan B. Anthony, failure is impossible. So I have the cream of the crop in this room. I really do. These are the people who run this organization. And I think with that, I am going to end. Maybe you move along.
Okay, does
Faster.
anybody else have